Did these boots walk in the desert?
Yes.
There's still some stones from there.
I think this is concrete from today, but yeah.
Very good stuff, yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, what is this urge, Anya, to still artists go into nature to look for something they don't understand? That it makes them something with this nice English word, unfathomable. Something very deep and strange and enigmatic, which you find in nature. Something you can't invent. That's what you look for. You look for something you can't think of.
Yeah, you look for something that there's not an answer for.
When you collected the rocks, did you think of something specific?
No.
Of a use, or you say, well, we'll see what happens.
We'll just see what happens, yeah.
So it was a trip to find things you don't understand, and which can
it was a trip to find a clue.
A clue of what? To what?
Of some way of quantifying this space, which is probably impossible. I don't know. It was a combination.
So you start with the smallest particle.
Yeah. And then I had to collect some bigger particles to remind me.
A grain of sand.
Yeah, a grain of sand.
As in Blake's poetry.
Yeah.
A grain of sand, and it goes larger and larger.
Whole universe, yeah. In the landscape in California, in the desert, is a landscape mostly now that you experience through traveling through it in a car, through a windscreen.
But we all know from the car, from movies. You don't have to go there anyway, you can just look at the movie.
Except that when you're actually in the desert, there's something about the sense of scale of it that is really unfathomable. When you're in the landscape, you have no sense of the scale of the landscape unless you see the car.
Yeah.
So this weird, annoying thing that you need some trace of.
So the rock is your focal point.
Yeah, but then if you look at the rock in a photograph, a rock could be tiny. When you still have a rock, it could be a pebble or it could be a rock. Yeah. Which is what I kind of enjoyed about the photographs. You have no sense of scale.
And they look like strange lunar landscapes, or like frozen ice.
Looking at the dirt under the microscope, it's like finding a landscape within a landscape, even on the macro level. And then the same thing with a rock. I see it's like a bonsai. You see another landscape in a landscape, or if you go back to Michelangelo, we were talking, a block of stone. What's the figure hidden inside it? Oh, and obviously in that terms of sculpture, it's being more, he's using his imagination to see a figure or something. But I was interested in that idea of landscape as material. What you're doing is how close can you get to the landscape, and how deep inside you can. So the rock is a simile of a mountain. I guess. And the shard of glass is light. So in a way, the rock with the glass is like the mountain in the sunset. Perfect, yeah. Which is the most perfect idea of the desert, the sunset. And then walking away. You got it. Got it. It is the material, it is the place, it's not a metaphor of place or simile. It's what it is. It just is what it is. It doesn't really emote anything. The dirt to me I can identify where these different dirts come from, but if I show anyone else the dirt, they see colours or they see dust. It doesn't make them think of the Grand Canyon or the Zabriskie Point or... And in the works you don't mention it either. I mean, they're completely blank. I mean, the shapes. They're kind of blank, yeah. They're not identified, that this is dirt from there or dirt from there. They're kind of in parentheses in the photographs, but I don't really know if it matters. I mean, to me it's an excuse to go to a place, and then by looking at the dirt under the microscope, it's like finding a landscape within a landscape. So is the bronze version of it is a monument to this boulder? Not really a monument of it, Because to me, the two...
It's like a photograph.
Kind of like a photograph, yeah. But at the same, because to me the experience of them is totally different. They're the same thing, but they're not.
But there's a different light, different material. Yeah.
The material acts in a totally different way, and bronze, of course, also is a material from the earth.
Yeah.
But that it's a transformed, and it's transformed by fire, which is which you could say again is volcanic,
yes,
even though it's been done in industrial, man-made fire to melt the metal to make the rock. So to me there's a kind of perverse circle.
Also it is very silent, it doesn't speak, which is the best condition of all.